Huge thank you to Sega of America for hooking me up with a copy of Sonic Racing Crossworlds. All thoughts expressed in this video are entirely my own, but I do appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I did pay $500 for this shit. Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Crossworlds is the latest iteration of this iconic rivalry, and this time, Sonic may actually reign supreme. Shots were fired at Nintendo with this marketing campaign, and the abundant disdain for almost everything Switch 2 makes it that much more impactful. With next-level greediness, corporate scummery, and the online being dead within a month, there's an opening to make a big splash here. I mean, Sonic Racing Crossworlds has 3-lap tracks, cross-platform play, and Sega as a whole has this really consumer-friendly brand image now, so it's set up to have much more success, but only if the game plays up to the task. Is Sonic Racing Crossworlds the Mario Kart killer it wants so badly to be? Let's dive in. Mario Kart is the premier kart racing series, and the gameplay mechanics of every installment are basically untouchably good, with Mario Kart World being no exception. Drifting feels satisfying, the new rail grinding and wall riding feel supernatural and give it much more depth, and the tracks have truly never been more fun to zoom around. Playing the Grand Prix offline gives you some excellent tracks to pick from too. They give you more routes and a higher skill ceiling than even Mario Kart 8 could dream of. It feels like you can interact with almost anything, and with incentive to master these layouts, it'd be tough to put down. But yeah, they couldn't do that one little thing right. Online play is what gives racing games such a pull factor. Competing against other people and outracing them because you put more time into mastering the layouts and mechanics is what gives them so much purpose. But instead, this game forces you to race through the frickin' intermission tracks because that's how Nintendo wants you to play the game. I get they wanted to push that at launch, which is why tracks you pick from online were all intermissions, but changing the random selection after seeing people use it as a workaround for 3-lap tracks is just so fucking petty, and honestly, very Nintendo of them. It killed the online. Just weeks in, it was hard to get a room that was even half full, and nowadays, you gotta join a Discord server to get a fraction of the online experience that Sonic Racing Crossworlds can offer out of the box. Nintendo's stubbornness made it all too easy for Sega to step in, give the players what they want, and reap all the reward. But the game itself had to be good. You couldn't pull a Team Sonic Racing and expect to dethrone the plumber, and they understood that and pulled absolutely no punches. Now, I've tried many different kart racers over the years, and each time I do, I appreciate the Mario Karts even more. They truly stand on a tier of their own. This gameplay is phenomenal, and I don't use that term lightly. I went in with a very critical eye after hearing all the praise it was getting, and was proved why in just the first hour or two. The drifting didn't feel natural right away, there's a bit of a learning curve coming from Mario Kart, but I'd argue it's even more seamless and feels smooth as butter. You know when tracks have those little bends that you can't quite do a full drift around, so you just awkwardly hop, don't get a boost from it, and start the next drift? Well, this game presents the perfect solution. Now, when you let go of the drift button, there's a small window to continue the drift in the opposite direction. That way you can charge up all the way and maximize your boost. At first, it felt clunky, and I wasn't getting my speed burst when I wanted it, but once I figured out how it worked, it gave these tracks an unprecedented amount of flow. The track layouts themselves aren't quite on that Mario Kart level, especially with World, there's so much complexity to them, but the gap was closed more than I thought. First off, the themes are stellar. They alternate between being stage recreations that fuel my nostalgia, Metal Harbor is back, oh my god, and these original tracks inspired by the Sonic universe, with Chow Park probably being my favorite. Oh, and the Coconut Mall ripoff. There's plenty of depth to these courses, with a nice balance of wide open spaces, branching paths, tough to reach shortcuts everywhere, and similar flying and jet ski-like sections. On paper, they have a ton in common in these core races, but where Sonic makes those the forefront of the game, Mario Kart World makes, well, the world, and that's kinda what hurts the game the most. Putting aside the online shortcomings, the offline is built around exploring this map, with the Knockout Tour and of course free roam. Both games wanted to shake up the normal 3-lap formula, but Sonic's approach, while arguably less ambitious, works better. Mario Kart says, hey, race from one course to the next and see how they're connected. Awesome premise, lacking execution. While Sonic says,
if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, That's no good.
While Sonic says, here's a portal for lap 2, check out this zany course, and come back over here now. It's not as in-depth or realistic, but who's playing these games for that? Sonic goes all out to keep it engaging, while Mario shows you the behind the scenes. I don't give a fuck. Sure, it's neat to have an open world, and it certainly beefs up the game, but I'll be honest, I spent maybe 15 minutes free roaming. It's just not that entertaining, and Sonic's definitely not suffering without one. What's there to even do offline in Sonic Racing Crossworlds, though? I don't know, maybe race? And I'd argue these offline offerings are better, mostly thanks to the new rival mechanic, which gives a standard Grand Prix much more flair and intensity. I absolutely love this. Mario Kart's always done that kinda secretly, with one racer being a bit more of an asshole than usual, but this game revels in that. Each character duo has custom dialogue to start the cup, and some of these are funny as hell or go hard. Throughout the race, they got a target on their back, they're taunting you, and crying more when you pass them, and you can adjust their difficulty separately to give yourself even more of a challenge. I know it's a bot, but I was getting pissed at these guys. They're toxic in all the most aggravating and entertaining ways, and thankfully, you can retry races in exchange for some tickets, which saved my controller on some unlucky races. The more I played though, the more manageable these rivals became, mostly because I started tweaking my custom vehicles and gadgets. Without doing this, it's almost impossible to beat anybody, and it gives the game even more of a learning curve. Mario Kart fully steered away from that kind of complexity with World, taking away vehicle customization to make it more of a pick up and play, and coming from that to this was a bit overwhelming with all the options you get, but I've warmed up to it a lot more. It is so sick to see the hoverboards brought back, and you can make so many badass looking vehicles, but they're not nearly as vital to gameplay as the gadgets. These have all kinds of abilities that can help you out in just about any way you need. I found myself bumping into walls a lot, so I used one that turns off the ring loss when you do that. If you hate losing your items at every inconvenience, there's one that makes you hold on to them no matter what. You can start races with different items, get stat buffs, faster boosts from drifting, and a ton more. It's all about playing around with them to see what you like the most, or what you can't live without. Some take up more slots than others, depending on how OP they are, but you can make a handful of presets that quickly switch between online, which is great. If you want to just hop in and race, it can be a hurdle to have to figure all that stuff out first to stand a chance, but the upside outweighs potential drawbacks. Another thing worth noting is how important rings are in the game. I thought they were like the coins in Mario Kart, you know, marginal top speed increases, but no. Without them, you're slower than the damn werehog. Sometimes these can be more important than items, which sounds crazy, but it's true. You literally crawl. It's a lot to adjust to, but it's well worth it for the impeccable online experience. With semi-traditional 3-lap races, it's focused on mastery of mechanics and weaving through obstacles and turns with maximum precision. The intermissions are straightaways that are boring to play, and the meta for the game requires bagging for the first 2 laps, then item spamming to take the lead. It rewards poor play early by putting items on steroids and turning up the chaos to 1,000. Front-running and actually trying punishes you so hard. You're in for an item storm at the last second that leads to massive frustration and terrible placements, where Sonic actually gives you a fighting chance in the lead. It even lets the player in first pick out the crossworld that becomes the second lap. If you hate that selected one, you can randomize it and hope for one better. It's a super cool idea. Also, having just 12 racers is kinda better for online in my opinion. Sure, 24 players sounded like a step up, but doesn't improve the experience in any way, like, at all. It adds chaos, sure, but these games have enough of that already, and with less players, it's easier to get a full lobby, you get less connection issues, and there's half the items trying to ruin your day. It's pretty great, actually. It puts you in rooms with similarly skilled players, all the races are very competitive, and playing the tracks you can access in time trials gives you so much more incentive to go train and learn the layouts. But if that's still not enough to keep you coming back, all the DLC dropping over the next year is sure as hell gonna be, and it juxtaposes Mario Kart World, again, in the best possible way. Nintendo's charging up the ass for DLC now, and there still hasn't even been any announced for this game yet. For all we know, they could abandon it after the backlash. Honestly, who knows? Sega's promised a ton of extra content though, and it ties together so many iconic worlds and characters. I mean, SpongeBob in a Bikini Bottom inspired track in a Sonic game? That's fucking rad. I cannot wait to see what else and who else is coming to this game. Without Smash character reveals for quite some time, these are filling that void pretty well. It's no contest in terms of replay value. Sonic Racing Crossworlds wins by a landslide, and with both games being playable on Switch too, it's even better. Taking these on the go to rep some time trials is going to be my go-to on this console for some time, and that's probably true for a lot of people, if you're comfortable taking your $500 console on the go, which, thanks to this lineup of products from Genki, I am. Their new selection of Nintendo accessories is exceptional. They sent me a boatload of goodies recently, and they take my on-the-go Switch 2 experience to the next level. Handheld play has never been better, mostly thanks to this grip set, which comes with a full shell for the system that still keeps all the important stuff accessible, and gives you 3 different grip options, 2 that are bulkier and feel great for at-home use, and 1 that's super slim but gives the console the curves that it honestly needed out of the box, while still fitting into their flagship case, which is also awesome. It's got a sleek look, small form factor, and holds a ton of games, more than any other cases I've seen. They've got battery packs that extend battery life by more than double and stick right on the back of their line of shells, super cool cartridge storage cases that can fit entire collections, and so much more. I used these on my fiance and I's recent trip to China, and it was great. Climbing walls as Donkey Kong on the Great Wall and flying over Tokyo while drifting in Tokyo were pretty surreal, not gonna lie. So take your overpriced Nintendo console on the go with confidence, and check out Genki's line of products through the link below. Now back to this heated debate. The only thing I haven't touched on yet is the music, which in classic Sonic game fashion does not disappoint. It's chocked full of songs I'll be looping for months to come, and it's absolutely wonderful, and Mario Kart World is just as good, can't even lie. We've been treated to some killer OSTs this year, and my ears are very thankful. But with all that said, which racing game package do I think is better? What's the verdict on this? Well, it's pretty obviously Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Not only does the gameplay meet the Mario Kart standard in quality, but it offers just as much innovation as the latest installment without any of the glaring setbacks. It might feel weird at first if you're used to Mario Kart, but give it some time, put in some effort to learn how it works, and you won't be sorry. This is one of the greatest racing games I've ever played. I won't crown it the best quite yet, and gotta let things cool off and revisit it in like a year, but at the moment, it's really looking that way, and it sure as hell takes down Mario Kart World. Nintendo's really got some cleaning up to do if they want to narrow that margin. I want to hear your thoughts though. If you've played both of these games, which one are you liking better? Please let me know down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and check out some of the other ones on screen for more content just like this. I'll see you later.